but there's just something missing. It feels awkward. You can also see he's nervous. I mean, it's a good question. And she didn't ask the elephant in the room, but she kind of did, right?
Blake Lively is reportedly feeling the heat after Ryan Reynolds seemingly threw her under the bus during his latest interview. Yes, it's as dramatic as it sounds. At the Time 100 Creative Summit, Ryan delivered his usual blend of humor, wisdom, and charm.
He didn't actually say anything about Blake Lively, and that's kind of the point.
But shockingly, he didn't mention Blake at all. Not a single word about his wife, or even a casual shout-out. Honestly, that's just ridiculous. The Ryan Reynolds Hollywood PR machine is in full swing, making appearances in both The Hollywood Reporter and at the Time 100 Creative Summit.
The Ryan Reynolds Hollywood PR machine is in full effect, appearing in both The Hollywood Reporter and the Time 100 Creative Summit.
This event was supposed to be a celebration of big thinkers and Hollywood stars, a place where brilliance shines. Yet Ryan completely sidestepped questions about the negative headlines surrounding him, using his platform to drop what felt like a grenade instead.
Fails to mention Blake at the summit as he swerves these questions about the negative headlines.
When asked about how media attention has impacted his brand and businesses, Ryan cracked a joke that was anything but lighthearted. He said something along the lines of, "I've carried most of the creative weight in this household. It's exhausting, honestly."
He's like,
what the headlines are saying about you. So how has that media attention impacted your brand, your businesses?
Well,
I mean, it's a good question.
you know, no, it's like Tina Fey says, if you're feeling good about yourself, just go online. You know,
I mean, that's true, but of course he has to position himself right away as the victim.
Sure, the crowd chuckled at his dry humor, but let's pause for a moment. Who exactly is he talking about? You guessed it, Blake. The woman who has co-created brands with him and walked red carpets by his side like a true partner.
which is so true. Honestly, I give a lot of talks to students about storytelling and about, how you can do it in different buckets. You can do it in unexpected ways. My company's North Star is bringing people together in smart, fun, and unexpected ways.
But Ryan wasn't done. He continued to share a theatrical story about his creative failures, painting a picture of a solo struggle without acknowledging Blake's support.
But I went, and that also helped with a lot of things too. So those are two weird tools that I didn't expect to advance things in other areas. I didn't become part. My career was an aggregate. It was very slow, so I didn't have that overnight success.
He framed himself as a lone genius, completely ignoring how she helped him build aviation gin into a powerhouse. He even mentioned, the risk of dying from fame is much lower when you get older.
30s when I started, so I had, it was the risk of dying from fame is much, much lower when you get older. So.
As if to suggest he's been navigating this journey all on his own. Then, he called himself a creative risk taker, implying that he was carrying dead weight. The audience laughed, but when you break it down, it was a passive-aggressive jab dressed in sarcasm.
And when I do these talks, sometimes the last one I did, I mentioned that the greatest superpower I ever had in my life, I'm not talking about just my career or anything, was knowing who I am.
Ryan is the guy who clicks on both positive and negative articles about himself, but which one is it? He can't be both the victim and the hero. Body language experts on TikTok even zoomed in on his micro-expressions, noting how he paused after name-dropping their brand collaborations and tilted his head when discussing handling everything.
So who is he? He's the guy who clicked when he read the negative and the positive article about himself? So which was it? You're not either of those, okay? Well, how did you know who you are?
It wasn't light teasing, it was condescending. The fact that he brought it up unprovoked is what really got people talking. No one expected him to drag Blake on such a massive platform, especially not while smiling.
I think she's having a great year, and our role is to be the humanities guide to trusted journalism. And so,
after the interview went viral, Blake vanished from social media. No stories, no witty captions, no red carpet throwbacks, just radio silence.
And to know it wasn't just Justin, Tim Miller, others, and it seems like Ryan came around and apologized to them. Ryan and Tim apparently are better now. But man, this is tough to watch.
And that's not typical for her. Usually she's quick to respond to any whispers about her marriage or kids, but
No, it's like Tina Fey says, if you're feeling good about yourself, just go online.
And that's kind of the point. Fails to mention Blake at the summit as he swerves these questions about the negative headlines.
this time her absence was loud and calculated. It felt like her team advised her to stay quiet, which in PR language is a major red flag.
That's the reality check that I think Blake and Ryan are refusing to accept. Just take some accountability, dude. You've dug yourself in such a hole and revealing the forced emails you wanted to do. I mean, we know. I don't have to tell all you guys, but the things he forced and yelled at Justin to do, it's sad, man.
Fans started digging, and some claimed she quietly unliked a few old posts that showcased their couple goals. It wasn't a full cleanse, but it was subtle enough to raise eyebrows.
The storytellers. You know, Ryan Reynolds was on the summit yesterday being interviewed, not Blake, even though she was being, actually the one on the Time Was 100. She couldn't handle the interview, but Ryan was.
Now, speculation is running wild. Was this a pre-planned PR move to let the storm pass before returning with smiles and a new campaign?
Now, granted, it's not a lot of views, it's Time Magazine, but still, you'd think he'd be a big enough star that he'd have a fan base that would be out there defending him and going, but I think even his fans know.
Or is Blake genuinely hurt and not wanting to deal with the fallout from her husband's comments? Either way, her silence spoke volumes. The couple that used to flirt publicly in comments is now a ghost town.
You've intentionally positioned yourself as the face of your many businesses, which obviously has a huge upside. You can feature Deadpool in these commercials. People know who you are. The downside is you cannot always control what the internet is saying about you.
The cheeky birthday posts have vanished, and that silence has created a vacuum. In that vacuum, the internet has spiraled, with Reddit threads popping off with wild theories.
Do these talks. Sometimes the last one I did, I mentioned that the greatest superpower I ever had in my life, I'm not talking about just my career or anything, was knowing who I am.
Some even recalled a moment in 2022 when Blake skipped a major event last minute. Were there already cracks in their relationship? Let's face it, Ryan and Blake aren't just spouses, they're a brand. Their entire vibe is built on being the quirky, witty, untouchable Hollywood couple.
Well, so Ryan Reynolds was interviewed on stage and he talked about, and he got some good questions, but of course he didn't answer the question.
So when Ryan publicly minimized Blake's role in his journey and she didn't respond, it wasn't just silence, it was strategy. Ryan was the one on stage at the Time Summit while Blake was absent, even though she was the one on the Time 100 list.
Dude, I like your movies, you're funny, I'm gonna try to ignore all the other stuff. I still wanna see Deadpool, but you, man, yeah, I'm disappointed. And I'll be honest, it does feel odd. It feels forced where he's out there being presented as, oh yeah, we gotta put you out there. We gotta be the man of the people. Everyone loves Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, but there's just something missing.
Her team knows the stakes. One wrong move and the media spins it into Divorce Watch 101. Instead of clapping back, Blake chose to freeze the narrative, stepping out of the spotlight to control the noise.
Was this part of the deal in order to get Blake Lively on the list? Did Leslie Sloan say, and we'll give you Ryan for your creative summit live in person? Because Blake can't do a live in-person interview like this at this point. I think she's still probably not ready for it.
It's classic PR containment, but here's the catch. Containment doesn't erase damage, it just buys time. Now, granted, it's not a huge platform like Time Magazine, but you'd think Ryan would have a fan base defending him.
Ryan was. He talked about being a storyteller. He said, I have so many multiple personalities. I'm a storyteller. But Blake was given a mic today.
Yet even his fans seem to recognize the playbook. The silence, the unfollows, the sudden, we're doing just fine photo dumps that usually follow weeks later. It's a cycle. And right now, Blake is in the do not engage phase.
Not scripted at all. She was given a mic at the event tonight and used this moment. And this is the most frustrating thing of all.
The question is whether she even wants to return to the way things were. Ryan has intentionally positioned himself as the face of their many businesses, which has its perks. He can feature Deadpool in commercials and everyone knows who he is.
He has just been publicly humiliating Justin Baldoni as soon as he could, as many times as he could, and using as many A-list actors as he could.
Lively shared the couple's plans for the property in South Salem. Of course it's Salem. Isn't that where witches go?
But the downside is that he can't always control the narrative surrounding him. Let's drop the rom-com filter for a moment and examine the man behind the charming facade. Ryan Reynolds may come off as your favorite sarcastic sweetheart, but what if that persona is just a well-oiled PR machine?
But there's just something missing. It feels awkward. You can also see he's nervous. He feels very nervous. Is he going to get asked a question? At some of these softball places like Time, they clearly aren't. And the question is like, why is he even there at the Time Summit? Was this part of the deal?
He doesn't just do branding, he lives it. From Aviation Gin to Mint Mobile, every move is calculated. He's not casually posting dad jokes.
I felt like it was very aggressive, I agree, and I can't fault somebody for wanting to stick up for their partner, but there were parts of it as I was reading it, I couldn't help but feel like it was a bit petty.
He's crafting a narrative. During interviews, he subtly controls the room, steering conversations back to his latest ventures. It's charming, but it also feels manipulative.
It's like, how does all the negative attention affect your businesses? Because if you scroll through the comments of this video, whoo, Team Justin all the way.
While he's out there being the relatable guy, there's an underlying tension that's hard to ignore. Blake, on the other hand, often appears in the background, wearing that tight-lipped smile while he cracks jokes at her expense.
Now here Friedman is quoted in TMZ. Let's look at what he said. Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement, extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
This dynamic raises questions about their partnership. Is Blake merely a supporting character in Ryan's story? Or is she a co-star in this carefully curated Hollywood narrative? Sources suggest she's not thrilled with Ryan's recent dominance of the narrative, feeling like she's in a one-man show rather than a partnership.
So according to the data, Chloe's Good American Fashion brand has about 30% fake followers on Instagram.
Ryan claims to be a storyteller, but Blake was given a mic at the event too. After Ryan's jab, the internet went into overdrive, analyzing Blake's reactions and speculating about her emotional state.
So this is from the reality show, what it really looks like, what Khloe Kardashian really looks like, and this is the final version. It looks like a complete different person.
The scrutiny she faces is relentless, and it's exhausting. Every time she goes quiet, it becomes news, while Ryan can make jokes at her expense and still be seen as relatable.
Late last night, Justin Baldoni's team filed an amended complaint in their lawsuit against Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, the New York Times, and in it,
The company's North Star is bringing people together in smart, fun, and unexpected ways.
The double standard is glaring. Blake could be going through a normal rough patch, but the media spins it into, has she had work done?
and he can claim jokes or whatever, but to pull random quotes of Justin talking about his teenage years and his growth and maturity and to try to use against him to label him a predator, which none of the quotes did. I actually applaud them for, even though they're not supposed to do it, for making the point to be like, nice try, Reynolds. You have your own quotes.
Meanwhile, Ryan gets praised for aging gracefully. Every time Blake steps back, it's scrutinized, while Ryan's comments are brushed off as humor. As the dust settles, the question remains, are Blake and Ryan victims of Hollywood's pressures? Or are they orchestrating this drama for their own gain?
It's just deranged. It's nonsensical. Like, fire the whole PR team. It's dumb.
This is something they reiterate a lot. We disagree. Here's why. But worst case scenario, if we lose, we are allowed legally to go make an amendment, and we should at least be doing that.
The lines between authenticity and strategy are blurred, and the public is left to wonder what's real and what's just another PR stunt. In the end, whether they're navigating a genuine relationship or a carefully crafted image, one thing is clear.
I have not seen a case so open and shut in my life, and the more that I read and the more details that I get into, I'm just shocked at how many lies were told, okay? This is about that narrative that I think they instantly started spinning. I believe that they are going to be able to prove in court.
The pressure to maintain their status as Hollywood's power couple is immense, and the stakes have never been higher. The narrative surrounding them is a complex web of love, ambition, and the harsh realities of fame.
And when you're young and you're in your 20s, you're trying, at least I was, you're trying on personalities like they're shirts. You're literally just, I'll be this person, I'll be that person, and one day you've stolen from 1,000, so you're a genius, not a thief.
As they continue to navigate this landscape, the world watches closely, waiting to see how this story unfolds. Blake's next move will be crucial. Will she reclaim her voice and assert her presence in their shared narrative? Or will she continue to play the role of the supportive partner in the background? The answer could redefine not just their relationship, but also how they are perceived in the ever-watchful eyes of Hollywood and beyond. The stakes are high, and the world is eager to see how this drama plays out.